Welcome to the Wickedly Smart Women podcast, featuring stellar conversations with emerging and established wickedly smart women. Thanks for joining us today as we celebrate the wickedly smart women who are committed, care deeply, and have the courage to take action and create change all around the world. Now here's your host, Emerald Greenforest.
Welcome to another episode of the Wickedly Smart Women podcast, where we celebrate wickedly smart women and provide our listeners with a wealth of wisdom, along with immediately actionable steps to be smarter, spunkier, and more successful in their impact and their leadership. This is your host, Emerald Greenforest, and today we welcome our very special guest, Kamala Murphey. Kamala is a mystic, spiritual coach, mentor, and transformational healer. Her passion is helping women devastated by a plan A gone awry to be able to awaken to possibilities that these challenges present. A new relationship with God's Spirit that lifts them up, and faith that the unfolding life plan is for their highest good. Kamala has earned master's degrees in counseling and theology, is an ordained minister, Sufi master teacher, and certified spiritual healer, and she is also the host of She Moves Mountains podcast. And I have had the pleasure of spending some time with Kamala. Many years ago, we actually connected initially when I think she did a telesummit that I was on.
Yes.
And then we met in person for the first time at a live event a few months ago, the New Media Summit. And so we got the opportunity to spend time hugging and dancing and all the other fun things. So thank you so much for coming, Kamala. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here. And it was so great to finally meet you face to face. It's like, yeah.
We did it. Yes.
We did it.
We made the cosmic date. I love making the cosmic date. Well, Kamala, we have made the cosmic date now with our listening audience because obviously it was time for them to hear your voice. So what I would love to hear from you to begin with is about the experience of your own calling and how that unfolded itself in your life and how that relates to this idea of a plan A gone awry and the awakening to possibilities that these kind of challenges present.
Well, when I was about 4, I had one of those bizarre mystical experiences that I can't even describe. It was as though I was taken out of my body on Christmas morning. And well, everybody in the family had their glasses of bourbon or whatever it was they were drinking. But I can remember clearly the ice in my grandmother's glass tinkling and her charm bracelet tinkling. And all of a sudden, there was just like, I'm out of here. And I feel like, I've jokingly said, it feels like God signed his name across my heart that day. Mm-hmm. So I've always been a God's girl, kind of. That's how I would describe it. So, through the years, I always had this interesting relationship with God and just have always felt really connected. And some friends have said, oh, didn't you get mad at God? And it's like, no, kind of never. Like I feel that I'm just close. I feel God in everything. So that's sort of the backstory. And then obviously things happen through life, but probably one of the first plan A gone awry for me was in my late 20s. I was married. I had my plan A. Handsome husband, really nice house, beautiful little boy. And then one night my husband came home and said, we've got to talk. I've fallen in love with someone else. And it was like, excuse me? That was not what I expected, not what I had planned for. So it sort of threw me off course. But I have, because I have this faith and this relationship with God, through trial and error, finding out there really is a better path. But that's what I love helping women do, not necessarily with relationships, but anytime there's a, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. The rug's been pulled out from underneath me. And yeah, just this, what now? This is not what I expected. And how devastating that can be for us. And just when that rug is pulled out.
Yeah, I would agree that there can be devastation and also shock and confusion and a number of other descriptors that I can put into the space around what it feels like to have the rug pulled out from under you. And the truth is that you've had this relationship with God since you were 4. For many of us, we've had the rug pulled out from under us multiple times before any kind of relationship. And in some cases, it was as a result of the rug being pulled out from under us that the relationship with spirit or the awakening to our connection to the divine happened. So, you've stepped into this role as a leader, Kamala, in the realm of helping people in this way. And I'm guessing that you have connection with clients and people that you coach and mentor that are across the spectrum. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you attract people that were awakened when they were 4 and that's who you attract.
Not typically.
So
there aren't too many of them.
So how do you help? Because I think for a lot of us, when the rug is pulled out from under us, it's like this core trust issue, right? This core sense of security and clarity suddenly becomes muddied, and the feeling is of abandonment or betrayal or uncertainty. In the lower level of vibration, it's more like uncertainty, but in the higher level of vibration, it's like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me in my life, right? Like everything is falling apart. How do you step in to support and work with people in letting go of what no longer serves them with the greatest degree of ease and grace?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've been told, one of those superpowers that I don't even understand what are you talking about? I seem to have people say there's just something about you that puts me at ease. And so I think this is one of those gifts that, just being around someone, they feel a little more comfortable. They begin to feel that there's a little more trust and can relax a little. And one of the exercises I always have people do is, this breathing deeply and just feeling as though you're going to be able to relax into a big down pillow or something that's just going to hold you, but you can just let go. And I think that's just so key, because if you can feel like you can relax a little bit and then open just a sliver to let a little more trust in, a little more love, knowing that there is love, even if you have had, your hopes dashed. Or I mentioned the marriage piece, but all along the way, my relationship with my dad, there were tons of times that I was betrayed. There were promises that weren't kept and things that were, betrayal. And trust has been an issue with other people. For some reason, the connection with the divine has always been there. But that's one way that I seem to be able to relate to other women. I know what it's like to feel completely betrayed and have that rug pulled out.
Yeah.
So I can, I've been there.
Can I ask if your dad had alcohol issues? Because you did mention bourbon at the beginning of the show.
No, my father was the codependent. My mother was the alcoholic.
Okay, my father was the alcoholic. My mother probably had some mental health issues besides codependence. So, okay.
Right.
Awesome. So,
yeah, really.
Awesome. Yeah, baby. Awesome. So,
woohoo, this is what's gotten us here.
Yeah, so a couple of things I want to say that I want to just drop into the space. I love this invitation to relax. And yet, in my own experience, personally, I feel like I've traveled a journey of chronic trauma, like trauma that's on top of trauma, that's on top of trauma. And relax is like, what? That's actually, I am in a space in my own life right now where that is the focus, to relax and to like consciously, in the tradition that I'm trained in through the Healing the Light Body School, we call it decoupling, right? Which is actually to reset your physiology to be out of fight or flight and into a state where it is capable of relaxing. So when you talked about letting the trust and the love in, the first thing that came to my mind was, is it really letting the trust and the love in, or is it accessing your own love for yourself and your own trust in yourself that's happening when people come to you and ask for your help?
That's a really good point, because it's actually both. Energetically, when we have these wounds, it's almost as though we armor our hearts, armor our being. And part of this work is really helping to dissipate those armor blocks so that we can recognize that I still think there's coming in, but there's also what we have inside. The image I always get, Emerald, is that it's like a steel block. I've got a great image that I'll have to share with you at some point. It's this heart that's completely armored with metal shields. And it's such a powerful image, but that's what we've done. It's an ease. Can we allow some relaxation and ease and peace to let these drop away, trusting ourselves, trusting the love that we have, the peace that we have?
Yeah, so what I'm hearing there, and I'm really excited that you just did what you just did, because it was really modeling and walking your talk, you know what I mean? Which is part of the work, is talking the walk and walking the talk as a leader. So I just really want to put the spotlight on that for our listeners, that we don't have to do anything, and we can choose to invite a different way of being with ourselves and in the world. And as a result of choosing that different way and inviting, like the word that came to me was inviting in the ease, inviting in the grace, inviting in the relaxation, inviting in the love, inviting in the trust. It is through that invitation that the dissolution of, and the dissolving of, and the dismantling of these shields and blocks and armor and so forth starts to happen. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're already at the break. Amazing.
How could that be?
It happens so fast. It happens so fast. But when we come back from the break, we are going to let you know where you can find out more about Kamala and what she's got going on. But right now, Wickedly Smart Women, we need your help. A great leader knows how to ask for help. And we'll talk with Kamala after the break a little bit about asking for help as well. But I am asking for help right now. If you are enjoying this show and you want us to stay on the air, please consider making a donation at www.wickedlysmartwomen.com. And we'd love to ask for your help in sharing this show and all of the Wickedly Smart Women guests that we have been honored to have on our show with your lovely lady friends who you think might benefit from the content. I do want to say a huge thank you to all of our listeners who are downloading, rating, and reviewing. We are welcoming thousands of downloads from all over the world. We already ranked as a top 75 podcast in the entrepreneurship category. So yay, celebration for that. And I checked before I did this interview with you, Kamala. The latest country that we want to shout out to and our listeners is Philippines. So thank you, Philippines, for tuning in, and we will be right back with Kamala Murphey.
The Wickedly Smart Women podcast is brought to you by the Creative Age Consulting Group. Women, are you ready for a big revenue breakthrough so you can stop working like a man and being paid like a woman? Are you ready to take the leap and go deep to claim your value and convert your wisdom to wealth? Is now the time to fulfill your mission and change the world? Creative Age Consulting Group is hired by women just like you who want to break through to their brilliance and be heard by millions while building a sustainable business model that makes bank. Please visit apply.wealthylifemethod.com to apply for an invitation-only consultation. If you have been inspired to receive support in welcoming wealth by making your most heartfelt contribution to the world, be sure to apply for a consultation today. Once again, that is apply.wealthylifemethod.com or click in the link in the show notes to access the application.
And we are back with Kamala Murphey, and Kamala can be located at kamalamurphey.com/smart. She's actually set up something for our listeners called the I Feel Fabulous cheat sheet. Because truly, don't we want to feel fabulous and not feel like the rug has been pulled out from under us? So please go to kamalamurphey.com/smart to download that I Feel Fabulous cheat sheet. We will have that information in the show notes for you. And Kamala, let's talk about, asking for help, because the invitation here is to anyone out there who has been devastated by a plan A gone awry. Kamala is here to help you. So I'd love to ask you, Kamala, how asking for help has changed your own life and how you are helping women who are willing to surrender this drive that's inculcated into us societally to do it myself, right? Like our 3-year-old is like, I do it myself, right?
Yes.
Mine was up today. Mine was like, I do it myself, and I don't want to listen to all these people that I've asked for help, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's such a key, because when you have had some trust issues, you do think that I've got to do it on my own. And I'll tell you, I am definitely one of those people. It's like, I can't trust anybody to help. I've been betrayed before, so I'm going to figure it out myself. I'm going to do it. But it doesn't work, because you burn out, you become exhausted, and life isn't fun, and stuff doesn't happen. It's so much better to say, I need some help, and get the support that's really going to nurture you. So I have been able to do that slowly but surely. But I also realized that the idea of, I have a counselor, I have, a massage therapist, I have a team now. And it's like, you need to ask for help, because you can't do it all on your own. As smart and as wickedly smart as you might be, a wickedly smart woman really asks for help when she knows she needs it. Like when you're struggling and you keep struggling, it's like, this is a warning.
And it's actually, you're now not so very smart. The more the more you struggle, the less smart you are. Right?
Yeah. And you start drowning.
Yeah. The other thing I heard there from you between the lines was asking for help actually strengthens you.
Yes.
Even though we've been conditioned to believe that asking for help is a sign of weakness, the truth is it actually strengthens you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So I want to talk about this mystic, spiritual, transformational aspect of you, because I actually ask questions kind of using my own little system here, where I work with leaders myself. And so there's a process of really stepping into loving to lead. And I know that you are a leader, you have your own community, you work with leaders and other wickedly smart women to help them with discernment in their decision making, and also to line up with what's been designed by the divine for them.
Yes.
So this is my D question. Discernment, decisions, and design by the divine. So I'd love to have you just dive in a little bit to that, about how you support yourself in your ability to dial up your discernment in the decision-making process as a leader, as a businesswoman, as a, somebody who is a voice in the world for creating conscious change, and also how you support the people that you help to dial up their discernment and make decisions that are in alignment with the design of the divine.
Right, right. So I could really just start with something that has come up for me in the last, well, actually, it was almost a year ago exactly. I've been noodling around. I know there's something inside me that wants to be birthed, right? And I had this memory of my mother and how she would wander around the house when she'd get dressed up and she would say, I feel like $1,000,000. So anyway, long story short, last Christmas I was thinking of her and thinking, feeling like $1,000,000. And I started dancing around the house. And I just had this flash that feeling like $1,000,000 is close to flambe. And so that has been part of my theme this year is flambe. And how that ties in is that flambe is like a fiery burst, surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's been very different from how I'd lived my life. I've, been pretty quiet, gentle, all of the things that are important for supporting women who have been traumatized, but they want to get to a place where I feel fabulous, right? And for me, the flambe is about feeling fabulous every day. And I get chills when I say that because it's just like, I feel lit up. And that's really what I want for these women to go from devastated to feeling fabulous, right?
Yeah. Well, I have the E for you. It just came downloaded for if you want to take it. Feeling like $1,000,000 energy. Because that's what it is. That's what it is. It's the energy of feeling like $1,000,000. And now you have the whole word flambe.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been saying every day, but I like energy. I like that a lot.
Because it's like we can tune into that feeling like $1,000,000 energy anytime.
Yes.
And anywhere and any day. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things for me, again, and that I'm really working with my clients around is so many of us didn't have permission. And the formula, a lot of the letters are also about freedom and license and giving oneself permission to be, in my 60s and talking about flambe. Just like, yeah.
I see you with your little magic wand, right? Your little flaming magic wand is out there.
Exactly. So giving ourselves permission to be who we are, to grieve if necessary, to heal as necessary, to take the steps, to ask for help, to give ourselves permission to feel fabulous. Because I think for a lot of women, that just hasn't been there.
Yeah.
And when I do some of the, I call one of my programs the soul spa, about really relaxing into this peace, to give yourself permission. It doesn't have to be black or white, all or nothing, slivers, little bits at a time, and just permission.
Beautiful. I love that. So my E in my leader's little mnemonic here is about ESP, right? Our energy, our sensitivity, our perceptivity, and leading from our intuition. So as a leader, as a businesswoman, as somebody who is also a mystic and a spiritual coach and really energetically aware, I'd love to have you just give our listeners some immediately actionable steps that you might have that either you use for yourself or you use with your clients to really amplify your trust in your ESP, your energy, your sensitivity, and your perceptivity.
Yeah. Well, one, you do all the time. It's the breathing. Taking time to slow down and really breathe in. Sometimes it feels like it's an imagining kind of thing, but allowing yourself to imagine, and catch little glimpses and play with them, because spirit likes to play as well. So there's just that opportunity to, tune in. What's that? What little message might be there? So I think those are things, but really the taking time to breathe and slow down and just allow what can come in to be there and be acknowledged, because spirit is talking to us all the time.
Sure. No doubt about it.
Are we listening?
Exactly. Are we listening? Are we paying attention? It's kind of like if you got out on the road and started driving and, the light's turning red and you just blow right through it, Yeah. Beautiful.
And there's also a tool called active imagination where you just, I think they used to call it automatic writing, but just talking to your guides, talking to spirit, talking to, I've been talking to my grandmother and my mother and her two sisters, the O'Gara girls. So it's my little council. So who wants to speak with me? And, clear it, making sure you're bringing in the good and getting the great information that's available to you.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that you dropped that in at the end as well. It's important to set boundaries even when we are communing with spirit. And I want to make sure that people are really clear that, yes, we can commune with spirit, and it's important to be very clear about exactly, specifically, and precisely ESP.
Yes.
What spiritual energies we are welcoming to the council table, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Yeah. Well, the show is already at the end, Kamala. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate your time today. Definitely, folks, get in touch with her at kamalamurphey.com/smart to download your I Feel Fabulous cheat sheet. And we want to keep our eye on the ball and watch how the flambe starts to emerge from you and your magical business, Kamala. And energy. I think that's the E for you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for that and for everything.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Well, ladies, I also want to let you know that I have created something for you as well. It's brand new. It is my Wealth Readiness quiz. And you can find that at quiz.wealthylifementor.com. Go ahead and take that. It'll take you less than 5 minutes and you'll be scored about your level of wealth readiness. So listeners, we do love feedback. Please let us know what you think of this show by calling into our listener line. That is going to be listed in the show notes, the phone number for that. Or send in questions or guest suggestions to listeners@wickedlysmartwomen.com. We might even give you a shout out on the show. Thanks for tuning in. Keep your ears open. And remember, you are a wonderful woman.
Thanks for tuning in, downloading, and listening. Be sure to review and rate Wickedly Smart Women on Apple Podcasts and share with other women who can benefit from today's episode. Wickedly Smart Women is the premier podcast series for informing, activating, and inspiring the leader who carries profound wisdom and knows that now is the time to welcome wealth. We welcome your feedback and guest suggestions and invite you to subscribe to our mailing list to be notified of each episode at wickedlysmartwomen.com.